Hey, thanks for tuning in. I'm Kyle is Wonderful, and this is the review for NXT in Your House 2022. It literally just finished 30 seconds ago. And overall, right off the bat, I'm gonna say I give it a thumbs up. Um, I'm someone that looks at wrestling for entertainment. I'm the kind of guy that can appreciate like an Okada Omega match as well as like comedy spots like a Wendy Chu and then like all on the same show. Like I can appreciate everything. So overall this was a good show and I'm going to give it a thumbs up and we'll get into it as we go here. Again, thanks for tuning in. This is my first review. I have been doing WWE 2K universe mode streams. So look for those on that's mostly what I've been doing on this channel. So since that's all I've been doing and this is my first review, I'm just going to give you a quick brief synopsis of my history in wrestling. I'm just a fan, never been in the business myself. I'm about to be 36 years old in a month, and I first got into wrestling with like Saturday morning superstars. I remember like Hulk Hogan fighting the Big Boss Man, and then also going to Blockbuster like every Friday, getting an NES game to rent, and as well a different wrestling tape. And so I was going through all the old WWF and WCW pay per views even as a youngster. I can distinctly remember hating WrestleMania 1 and 2 and just thinking it was so boring. Just too many. There wasn't enough gimmicks. Too many guys in black trunks. I didn't understand it. Anything from WrestleMania 3 and on, because I'm from Detroit, so I recognize that it was a big deal that WrestleMania 3 was in Detroit, and then also, of course, the Macho Man Steamboat match is like something that you can recognize even as a youngster. Like that's an incredible match, and of course, seeing Hulk Hogan slam Andre. So all that stuff. Going from there, just a brief from there till now. I've been a fan of like all kinds of wrestling. So like I was a fan of the Attitude Era and the NWO and Nitro era at the same time. When Nitro was gone, I became a TNA fan somewhere around 2004. I remember randomly getting a pay per view, um, and I just randomly got one of those weekly pay per views when they were doing when the TNA was only weekly pay per views, and I saw AJ Styles on there, um, and I instantly got hooked on TNA and it became an AJ Styles fan. I should have mentioned earlier I was a huge Shawn Michaels fan. Um, Obviously, now that I'm older, I can appreciate Bret Hart just as much. But as a youngster, I was a Shawn Michaels fan. Then became an AJ Styles fan with and TNA. Um, from there, of course, I was into the black and gold. I got the black and gold NW or NXT hat on right now, as well as getting into New Japan around that same time when I started hearing about Bullet Club and the things that Prince Devitt was doing and stuff like that. And Lucha Underground, probably my favorite promotion of all time. The storytelling in Lucha Underground was insane, as well as some of the matches were just out of this world. It really shows you that you don't have to be a live touring promotion to be a successful promotion. Because I thought Lucha Underground was probably some of the best weekly television of all time. AEW, love them. I love the stuff that AEW is doing. Wish they would treat the women's division better, but other than that, I think they've got a lot going on. And if I'm missing out on any promotions, just know that I love all wrestling. What a crazy 8 days, maybe about 10 days if you want to go all the way back to the crazy New Japan Best of the Super Juniors main event between El Desperado. Oh, wait, no, it was El Fantasmo and Robbie Eagles. If you haven't seen that match, it was from the 22nd of May. Best of the Super Juniors main event. Definitely go look that match up. Ever since then, it's been just a crazy time in wrestling. Crazy 10 days. Let's see, we've had on Rampage. It was the crazy Ruby Soho getting booed out of the building, even though because she beat Chris Statlander, as well as Gangrel coming back to join up with the Hardys, literally doing a cosplay of the Young Bucks doing a cosplay of the Hardys. So that was Friday. Then on Saturday, of course, the whole MJF news. Of course, I thought it was a work from the beginning, and that's what it looks like it's turning out to be, even though there's a lot of truths behind it, which is the great thing about wrestling, and what makes wrestling amazing is that real life events affect everything. So it's not just this fake world, but yeah, MJF, was he going to show up? Was he not? We get to Sunday to the pay-per-view for AEW Double or Nothing, and yeah, MJF was there. He pretty much got squashed, and it looked like they wrote him off TV for like at least a couple of weeks by getting him stretchered out. But nope, here he comes on Wednesday on Dynamite with the modern day pipe bomb. If you haven't seen the pipe bomb from MJF, definitely go look that up. A lot of good things said in that, especially the part about wrestling fans and their opinions. He just had to throw that little jab in there. Like, loved that. Loved everything about it. The rest of Dynamite was amazing. One of the best Dynamites we've ever seen in the history of Dynamite. Monday was all right. We got Hell in the Cell coming up. Monday was pretty cool with the Seth Rollins, Cody, big brawl, as well as now it's canon in WWE storyline. The whole Cody took a sledgehammer to the throne of Triple H and AEW with all his friends and tried to put him out of business. Now we could say that's officially part of WWE storylines because they mentioned it. And I know I'm missing stuff. There was Joey Janela fighting the viral video sensation Michael Jackson impersonator inside of a mall in Las Vegas. I mean, there's just been all kinds of crazy things. I know I'm missing some, but we're here to talk about NXT. Um, as we know, this isn't a takeover, and I'm glad they don't call it by the takeover name. Um, we know it's not NXT Black and Gold. NXT Black and Gold is dead. They literally showed on NXT 2.0 that by having Braun Breaker not once but twice destroy the Golden X, that they have indeed killed off NXT 1.0, the Black and Gold. They've renamed it NXT 2.0. Don't never forget that Ollie J is NXT 2.0. Never forget that they said that to us. But yeah, AEW is NXT Black and Gold. Black and Gold, the soul of NXT Black and Gold lives in AEW. So we know going into this that it's not going to be like this amazing show where like I see you, Agent. No, I like them both, and what I was saying is I believe that NXT Black and Gold is alive. It's just called AEW now, and it's ran by someone else where they can do their own thing. They have their own money, but no, In Your House was great. I've enjoyed it for what it was. We knew it wasn't going to be like a takeover, and I'm glad they don't call them takeovers anymore. We knew it wasn't going to be like classic wrestling, but there was some good wrestling on the show. You knew going into it, having Carmelo Hayes versus um, Cameron Grimes, that you know you're going to get a good match out of that. And I thought the main event was fine as well for what it was. Um, but yeah, let's get into it a little bit here. If Oh yeah, the In Your House. Yeah, I used to get the In Your House shows because they were the cheaper ones. So I was young, you know. I didn't have money. I wasn't even like in middle school yet. So the In Your House, they were like what, $9.99, something like that. They were only 2 hours long, but you got to see like Shawn Michaels versus the British Bulldog or something like that. Okay, so the new NXT. So basically they got rid of most of the indie guy. You know how they made Black and Gold NXT, like, well, let's bring in Finn Balor and Shinsuke Nakamura and El Generico and Kevin Steen and all these guys that are Adam Cole and all those people. It's not that anymore, but it's not completely just like ex NFL stars that got fired from being in the NFL. Like a bear. It's not all Baron Corbin's. There's still oh yeah, Triple H. Triple H doesn't run it anymore, but Shawn Michaels is in charge. So there's maybe a little hint of, but also Bruce Pritchard. I don't know if you know who Bruce Pritchard is. That's Brother Love. He's in charge of like Raw and SmackDown right now, and he's also in charge of NXT. But yeah, NXT, they still got some all right wrestlers. You've got like Roderick Strong, who's always been in NXT for a long time. He's part of that class that like Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens are from. So like you've still got some people that are great in NXT. It's not completely just your Baron Corbins like they want it to be the next generation. There is some indie people like Joe Gacy and Tony D'Angelo, and I know like um some of the other guys, they've been in the independent scene, just not, they weren't big stars like a Carmelo Hayes. Um, but yeah, I definitely, you should go look at, there's some good guys. You're going to love Carmelo Hayes. And his match tonight was amazing, but we started tonight with, oh man. So the build to this was amazing. So it's basically the Mafia versus the Cartel. So we've already had the Cartel established. It's Santos Escobar, and he's got his two goons. It's formerly Raul Mendoza. Now they renamed him Del Toro, something Del Toro. I can't even remember, but his partner is Joaquin Wild. So they're the Cartel, and they're feuding with the Mafia. So we've already established this guy. He's Tony D'Angelo, and he talks like this. And you're gonna be sleeping with the fishes tonight. You know, when I'm finished with you, you won't even be the same. You gotta. I'm the Don of that NXT. You're gonna get out of here. You know, he's that kind of guy, and he's feuding with the Cartel, who've already been, this is their turf. They've been in charge for like 2 years in NXT. So now that's come to a head. So basically this match was formed because of they had a meeting on a yacht on NXT. You can catch NXT on Tuesday nights. So there was a meeting on a yacht between the Cartel and the Mafia, and basically they said, it was all this stuff, this just cliche like gangster stuff, but it was hilarious at the end. They're like, all right, here's how we're gonna settle it. It's gonna be a 6-man tag, which right there, like none of it was like wrestling related in the whole like 3 minutes before that while they're on a yacht, until he's like, all right, there's gonna be a 6-man tag, and the winner of this 6-man tag is gonna be the leaders, and then the losers have to work for the family that wins. And so that set up, the winner of this match is gonna have the others join their family. So we're either getting the Mafia guys joining the Cartel or the Cartel joining the Mafia. So if that's not a good setup for a match, I don't know what. And that's NXT 2.0 in a nutshell. It's very gimmick based. It's very storyline based. You're not going to get great wrestling out of NXT 2.0, but what you will find is some entertainment and some pretty good storylines. Like everybody has a character. Like they debuted 10 different women in the last like 2 months. They all have like little character, like at the very least they have something. Like one, she's a businesswoman and she can calculate all the things to make it so that she's going to win this match. And then there's another one, she's only 19, but she had 2 older sisters that she used to wrestle with growing up. Like they all have these little gimmicks. Like another one was 18, she just graduated high school. Well, NXT happens to have a college. NXT has Chase University with 2 different people already in it. Well, now that 18-year-old that graduated from college, she's going to go to that university that we've already established in the NXT universe. So like this NXT 2.0 universe they're building is crazy. They got a university, they got the Mafia, they got the Cartel, they've got this new guy Joe Gacy. He's going after the champion Braun Breaker, who's the Steiner brothers' son, Rick Steiner's son. He's forming like he's the new Bray Wyatt. He's forming like a dark ministry with druids. All of this is in a 2-hour show on Tuesday nights, which is supposed to be, this is the minor leagues of WWE. We're supposed to be training all these people so that they go up to so that they're ready for Raw and SmackDown. But in the meantime, we're creating like this whole universe that's crazy. So here we go. First match of the night, which, although I should mention, you should go to the pre-show and find my favorite guy in NXT 2.0 is Idris Enofe. and he is just hilarious. And they got him tag teaming with this guy. I don't know any of you NBA guys from the 90s NBA might know Daryl Dawkins. This is Daryl Dawkins' nephew, and his name is Malik Blade. He just has no charisma. He seems like a nerd, and he's tag team with the most charismatic, like biggest star I think in NXT, Idris Enofe. Definitely look out for Idris Enofe. He was dressed out tonight in this pure African garb, like the African hat, just all the whole African look. And one of the guys on the pre-show was this nerd named Sam Roberts, and you should have like Sam Roberts like cut him off at one point. He cut off Idris Enofe, and Idris like gave him this look and like said that like awkward like it was awkward. It looked like Idris was about to beat his ass. But definitely Idris Enofe is someone to look out for. They got him tag teaming with this nerd right now. But the nerd, it does have athletic ability. And that was the pre-show. No matches on the pre-show. So the show started off with the Mafia versus the Cartel. It was Tony D'Angelo, Stacks and Two Dimes, and that's the Mafia versus Santos Escobar, who's an amazing wrestler. Going all the way back, he was in Lucha Underground as King Cuerno, and he was the guy with like the deer head that would just he was a cold-blooded assassin, and now he's like this cold-blooded assassin but a mafia leader with no mask. But him and his two luchador guys, it was a 6-man tag. Loser has to work for the winners. It was a decent match. I knew going into it that the destination was the better part than the match. Like the whole stuff on the yacht was going to be better than the match, and then whatever we get next week and the coming weeks of now they work for them and whatever segments we get with that is going to be amazing. So the actual match was never going to be as good as those the surrounding segments and whatnot, but it was a decent match. It at points went crazy where all 6 men were in the ring just punching each other, going nuts, and it ends up with the Mafia getting the win. And so the Cartel, including they have a woman on their side. What's her name? Electra Lopez. So all 4 of them will now have to work for the Mafia, and there should be some good segments coming up. I'm interested to see what they do different, if it's just they have new outfits or whatnot. But yeah, um, Legado del Fantasma will now be part of the Cartel, or I mean, will now be part of Don Tony's family, the Don of NXT, Tony D'Angelo. And like I said, the match was all right, but we weren't really here for the match. It was more for the surrounding stuff. Um, so the next match was the women's tag team titles. So Toxic Attraction, definitely go look them up if you haven't seen Toxic Attraction. It's this tag team, Gigi Dolan and JC Jane, and then they've also got Mandy Rose as their leader. Mandy Rose is the NXT Women's Champion and has been now for like 220 days. And I think for like almost 200 days, her 2 lackeys in Toxic Attraction, these 2 girls have had the tag titles. So they were defending against Katana Chance, who used to be named Casey Canizaro. She's from what do you call it? What's that show? America Top Ninja, where you run the obstacle course. She's a little girl, like 4'11", like 80 pounds, but like can do all this crazy like moves and shit. And she was with her tag team partner, Caden Carter. Apparently from the Philippines, but also looks black and has dreadlocks. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but they're a cool group. Their gimmick is like they're like party ravers, kind of like, like party girls or whatever, but they're fighting the hot girls. So Toxic Attraction's whole gimmick is that they're the hot girls. They're mean as fuck. They call everyone else like beneath them, the whole, if you've ever seen Mean Girls, you know the type. But Gigi Dolan, definitely look out for her. She's probably one of the best looking girls I've ever seen in wrestling. And her and JC, they've definitely been getting better at wrestlers, because again, this NXT is all about like, this is the minor leagues. We're trying to train people that weren't stars into being stars. And I think GG and JC Toxic Attraction have gotten way better than they were 6 months ago. If you go back, like even when they won the titles, they were barely wrestling. I think they won the titles in like their second match ever, at least on TV, and then like defended the titles once in a four month span or something ridiculous like that. But now they've had like 6 or 7 or 8 matches in a 4 month span, and they've gotten a lot better. I could definitely see them on the main roster along with um what's her name, Mandy Rose. So I can see the three of them like on SmackDown like any week. The right now they're, and spoiler alert, Mandy Rose and Toxic Attraction retain their titles, but I think they're ready for SmackDown right now. So I would definitely get them up. They've definitely improved in the ring and their character work. Like I said, they weren't wrestling a lot, but they were on TV every single week cutting a promo, doing different things, having different skits. They've been in different situations and all kinds of things now. So I would even go as far as to maybe put the WWE Women's Tag Team on GG and JC and have Mandy Rose with the help of GG and JC, Mandy Rose be the one to beat Ronda Rousey and put the SmackDown Women's title on Mandy Rose and have Toxic Attraction with the tag titles and have them featured on SmackDown going forward. Then you could have Raquel and Aaliyah and Ronda beat Chase Toxic Attraction, on SmackDown. I think that should be where they go going forward. Katana Chance and Cannon Carter looked good here. It's disappointing to see them lose yet again. They even brought it up on commentary during the match that um, oh, Katana Chance and Kane Carter they've been losing a lot. Like they lost a lot as a tag team when they formed. Like and then they just go ahead and lose again tonight. So what is the story here? Like, if tonight wasn't the night to put the title on Katana Chance and Caden Carter, then when is? Like, I get that JC and GG are big stars, but like I just said, they're ready for SmackDown with Mandy right now. So why not just put Katana Chance and Caden Carter as your tag titles on NXT so that you could just SmackDown is in dire need of anybody, and putting Toxic Attraction on SmackDown would save a lot of things. Immediately make SmackDown better with putting GGJC and Mandy on there. So you even brought it up in the match that Katana Chance and Caden Carter have been losing a lot at ever since they formed their tag team, but they're getting better. So what? Now they're still just getting better. This was the perfect time to put the titles on Katana Chance and Caden Carter. Like I said, if not now, then when? Is there ever going to be a time? Like, it's just ridiculous. So you bring up within the match that they're losers, and then you have them lose. Okay, not you're just telling us they're losers. I guess next up on the list is Valentina Feroz and Ulyssa Leon, and then they're just going to lose to JC and GG. And then where do we go from there? Like, so they really need to look forward into the future. And I don't see why you don't have all of Toxic Attraction on SmackDown next Friday. And they don't need the titles to do that. So that was a little disappointing there. But like I said, GG and JC look better. They look their best as ever. Like that's all you can ask for in NXT 2.0 is that you improve each match. And GG and JC looked great in this match. As far as way better than they did 6 months ago, which is all you can ask for. And I'm going to move on to the next match. It's probably we knew going into it, then looking at the card going into the night, that this was going to be the match of the night: Carmelo Hayes versus Cameron Grimes for the North American Championship, and it lived up to the billing. I don't know if it was as good as I quite could have imagined, or as it quite could have been. I didn't like the fact that Carmelo Hayes needed Trick Williams' help, but that's neither here nor there. I guess that's just how you have to establish people as being heels. But I didn't like it. Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams did come out with new entrance gear, kind of like pimp outfits, at least with Trick Williams with his whole whoop that tricks. had a pimp robe on. It looked good and all that. If it was me, I think that again, Carmelo Hayes, you could put him on Raw or SmackDown right now. And if it was me, if I was the booker, if I was Vince McMahon or Bruce Pritchard, I'd have Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams on Raw, and I would have Omos distance himself from MVP, and we would start the next Hurt Business: Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, and then bring in Shelton and Cedric, and then MVP. So if I was the booker, that's what I would do. Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. Trick Williams has gotten so much better. If you've watched his progression on Level Up, he barely knew what he was doing in the ring 6 months ago. And now it looks like a bona fide big man with some pretty good power moves and some confidence in the ring. I think you can throw Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams on Raw right now and have them join, or you don't have to have MVP. You could just have MVP, Omos, Carmelo Hayes, and Cameron Grimes and Trick Williams be the next Hurt Business. Cameron Grimes, on the other hand, also another guy that's ready to be on the main roster. I mean, we've known Cameron Grimes since he was the modern day caveman and as NX or as X Division champion in TNA, and that was at least 5 or 6 years ago. So um, Cameron Grimes is ready for the main roster. If I would put him on Raw right now, the Raw mid card needs a lot of help. The Raw main event scene is a lot better than SmackDown, but the Raw mid card is atrocious. That's why you got like Kevin Owens dipping down to the mid card to fight with people like Elias, and other people in that mid card include I mean, they could start doing something with Tommaso, but they're not, seemingly. Tommaso can't even get a entrance. But yeah, I would put Cameron Grimes on the main roster. I would put the $1 million championship back on him, as well as put it's just at the very beginning when he gets on the main roster, I would have him as $1 million champion with Ted DiBiase, the $1 million man, as his manager. Um, just the same way you debuted Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm not saying Cameron Grimes is the next Stone Cold Steve Austin, but I do believe Cameron Grimes, the way he looks, he kind of looks like an average guy you would meet on the street. Put a little flair on him, let people know right away what his gimmick is with his song about money, and then he's got the $1 million championship. And Lord, let him be the freaking Cameron Grimes that he was 3 4 months ago. I don't know who this new Cameron Grimes is, but he's been completely neutered. He has no character whatsoever. Sure, it was nice that he shared about his whole story with his father passing away as soon as he got to NXT, and then he won the North American Championship at Stand and Deliver for his dad and in his honor. But ever since then, it's just been this completely neutered version of Cameron Grimes where he has no character. I mean, before that, he was, let's take it to the moon. And he's just this exaggerated, exhilarant like character that you can put in almost any situation, whether he's feuding with LA Knight or he's doing the poker room stuff with Duke Hudson. But now Cameron Grimes is just this average ass plain old fucking guy. Like, it's ridiculous. So let Cameron Grimes be the person he is. I didn't mention it, but Carmelo Hayes did defeat Cameron Grimes, so Carmelo Hayes is your new North American champion. That's a good move, I guess. But I wouldn't even have had Cameron Grimes. I wouldn't even have had Carmelo Hayes in this match. I would have had Carmelo Hayes in the NXT title match against Braun Breaker, and then I would have had Solo Sikoa win the title here. But Solo Sikoa is the next champion, is the next number one contender for the. As he says, he's got next. We're looking at Carmelo Hayes versus Solo Sikoa in the next coming weeks for the North American Championship, and I think it should go to Solo Sikoa, which means, what's the point of putting it on Carmelo Hayes here, or is just Solo Sikoa not going to get the title? Like, it's all ass backwards. Like, Cameron Grimes is completely neutered. It should have been Carmelo Hayes going for the world title, and then you don't have to put freaking Braun Breaker in this stupid ass storyline with Joe Gacy. You could have had Joe Gacy in the stupid storyline with Cameron Grimes, and with the Cameron Grimes that we had 3 or 4 months ago, where he's an exaggerated character. Now think about how good those segments are. Right now, we've gotten months and like 2 months of terrible segments with Braun Breaker and Joe Gacy. Well, imagine all those segments, but it was Joe Gacy and Cameron Grimes, and the feud was over the North American Championship. And then you could have had Carmelo Hayes versus Braun and just a regular old feud for the NXT title, where like you could have Trick Williams fight Braun a couple times and like just some classics wrestling stuff for the NXT title. We could have had Cameron Grimes and Joe Gacy in this whole other world, and that would be for the North American, or just have Solo Sikoa have the North American Championship, and Cameron Grimes and Joe Gacy can do all this, and it's not for the title because it's just such a ridiculous story to begin with. But here we are. It was a good match, not as like anything groundbreaking that I would go tell my friends, bro, you got to get Peacock and go watch the replay of Carmelo Hayes versus Cameron Grimes. It wasn't anything that good, but it was good. It was probably match of the night. It was everyone assumed was going to be the match of the night coming into tonight, but you know, what more can I say? I've already said what I feel about it. The next match is for the NXT Women's Championship. I've already said who won. It was Mandy Rose. She defeated Wendy Chu. It was a better match than I thought it was going to be coming into it. Mandy Rose has improved so much. I'm not going to say she's the next like Asuka or like the next Randy Orton or anything like that. Like, but Mandy Rose from where she was slipping on her and falling on her butt at WrestleMania 37 all the way to now is a completely different person. She's great at promos. She's great with her character work. She's better in the ring. I'm not gonna, like I said, she's not gonna pull out a 4-star match, but she can give you a 3.5. And if she's in the ring with someone that can pull out a 5-star match, she can give you a 4-star. But yeah, what more can you ask for from someone that has good character work and good promos and stuff like that? That she's just improving week by week. So at the end of the day, it was a good move to move her to NXT 2.0 and make her the face of NXT 2.0 women's division. But yeah, good thing they like changed the belt because and renamed it NXT 2.0 because now we're getting to the territory of Mandy Rose has held the title almost as long as like Asuka and Bailey and people like that are revered in NXT. Mandy Rose is nowhere near that, and nor should she be put in the same category. This is NXT 2.0 is a completely separate category, a completely separate promotion with a completely separate mindset. And Mandy Rose is the face of that women's division. And I've already said it on this podcast that she should be on SmackDown right now. She should win the SmackDown's title with help from Gigi and JC from Ronda Rousey because nobody wants to see Ronda Rousey with a lengthy title reign. I mean, nobody really wants to see Mandy Rose either. But if your whole plan is that you want Ronda to be the main person on SmackDown, I think she's better in a chasing role. So you could have Ronda chasing Mandy Rose, where she has Gigi and JC by her side to help stave off Ronda. So I don't think Mandy Rose necessarily needed the win tonight, but I don't know if Wendy Chu was necessarily the person who should win the title right now or ever with this character. Like, so when it comes to the Wendy Chu character, I mean, like, sure, I kind of like didn't understand it at first when she's like, oh, she's just sleeps all the time. She's a sleepyhead, and then she comes out and she wrestles in her pajamas, one onesie with the foot like a baby, like, and then she has sleep based offense. Like, it was a little much, but then I kind of got in, like, not into it, but I could accept it because it wasn't orange. It didn't get as bad as some of the stuff that Orange Cassidy does. But then she started doing like I could even get behind like the hijinks where when you choose like breaking in and making Mandy Rose's tanning salon go too high and for too long and giving her a sunburn, like that's fine too. I guess I can deal with that. But it's this whole like, oh, you're in a match and let me shoot silly string at you, or now I got a squirt gun, or now I have a sack full of balls, and then see get it, I got this hit you with my sack of my ball sack, like it's just gotten way too freaking cringe. I don't enjoy the Wendy Chu character whatsoever anymore. She came out tonight. It wasn't the onesie with the foot pajamas. It was like a 1980s workout onesie. this time with like 1980s sneakers, I guess. And it was all right. It was an all right match. Mandy Rose, like I said, has improved. Wendy Chu's never been terrible in the ring, and it was all right. It wasn't too gimmicky or whatsoever. I was glad to see Wendy Chu didn't win. I prefer Wendy Chu to go back to the Mei Ying character and accompany uh, Xia Li on SmackDown. As I keep mentioning, SmackDown needs all the freaking help they can get. So the Wendy Chu character as it is right now, it's cringe as hell. It's not for me. Of course, about to be a 36-year-old man. It's not necessarily supposed to be for me, but like I said, I was okay with it when it was just the sleepy gimmick and oh, she's a sleepy girl and oh, and I like the hijinks when she found Mandy Rose in the tanning salon, but the silly string, the fucking super soakers, like that stuff's way too much. It's not for me. I hope she goes back to the May and just put her with Mei Ying, like um back in the Mei Ying character on SmackDown, and Wendy Chu would be better. But at least she didn't win the title tonight. That's all we could hope for. The next match was amazing. The Creed brothers. If you guys haven't seen the Creed brothers, part of Diamond Mine on NXT, definitely go look up some of the Creed brothers stuff. They look to be the next big thing as far as tag teams go. And you know how it goes when you're real life brothers. You might be a tag team for a year, for a decade, like the Usos. These guys have improved so much in the 6-7 months we've known them, coming out with some great new gear. Again, they keep having new gear, new moves, and they defeated Pretty Deadly, who I've been impressed with ever since they've gotten here from NXT UK. And the Creed brothers are your new NXT Tag Team Champions. Um, there was an added stipulation which made this match even better. If the Creed had lost, then they would have had to leave Diamond Mine. So there was a lot riding on this match. Um, and it was just really good. Go out of your way to find this match. I was glad to see Brutus Creed adjusted his, what do you call it, his cannonball that he does, because I thought he broke his freaking ankle on last time he tried it, and then now I see he adjusted so that he doesn't land on his feet. Um, I mean, not much else to say. Probably the second best match of the night. And Creed brothers stay with Diamond Mine. There was some hijinks at the very end. I didn't quite see who slid the title in, but it was just like the end of the AEW pay per view where there was a moral dilemma: do I hit him with the title? Do I not? But this time, unlike Hangman Page, who took freaking an hour to decide, um, quickly Julius Creed decided, no, I don't need the title to hit him with. I can win it on my own. And then out of nowhere, Julius Creed hits a freaking shooting star press off the top rope, and then immediately gets up and hits him with his seated clothesline for the 1-2-3. Amazing ending. Um, and it probably wasn't even in. Okay, it was the best ending of the night, but the next match's ending was insane. So, oh yeah, Pro, I'm ready for tomorrow. Cody versus Seth is going to be great. I'm thinking there's Cody's gonna be bleeding like a stuffed pig in that one, bro. Hopefully they got the old cage back. I hate that stupid red cage, but I'm sure it's the stupid red cage. Anyway, now we got to our main event of NXT. It was Braun Breaker versus Joe Gacy, and the build for this was fucking terrible. Just some of the most cringe shit you've ever seen with Joe Gacy. Joe Gacy is the Bray Wyatt you bought off of Wish. He's They fired Bray Wyatt so that they could have this new Joe Gacy guy. I mean, his original gimmick was fine. He was supposed to be the woke leftist, like that the rights think like, oh, he's all inclusive. Like he hated the cruiserweight title because why does everything have to be about weight limits? Like that character was fucking fine. That character is relevant, but to be just a second-rate, cheap, wished version of Bray Wyatt is just ridiculous. Joe Gacy now has two druids with him. The druids are Drake and Gibson, formerly of the Grizzled Young Veterans. And somebody brought it, or it was the podcast Going in Raw. They brought up what a great ending, and that this isn't what happened, but what a great ending it would have been if at the end Joe Gacy reveals that the two druids were Braun Breaker's father and uncle, Rick and Scott Steiner. Oh, that would have been a great freaking ending, but that's not what we got. But the ending wasn't too bad, and the match wasn't too bad either. As bad as the freaking build to this was, where you're putting Braun Breaker, who's like supposed to be the next Brock Lesnar, in all these awkward ass situations where he has to act like he's scared or like he's startled or like, that they're putting Braun Breaker in situations he shouldn't be in. So the whole build was stupid, but the match was all right. Joe Gacy can go in the ring, and we know Braun Breaker can go. Some really explosive offense from Braun. The ending of this match was fucking insane. So before we got to the ending, first of all, Braun Breaker did one of those like the Big E spear through the ropes, except Braun didn't go with him. He just speared him and then stayed in the ring. But Joe Gacy went right into the announce table, and that looked amazing. And then a little bit after that, after there was a bunch of shenanigans in this match, because of course, if the whole story was, if Braun gets disqualified, then he loses the title. Like most title matches, if you're disqualified, you keep the title, which is an old classic thing they used to have the heels do. The heels could retain the title for months by just keep getting disqualified, and then of course that would lead to a cage match where like there was no disqualifications and you had to win, and you couldn't have your friends help you. Um, but nothing's like that anymore. But anyway, that made this match different and it made it good. So Joe Gacy kept like giving him a chair and like telling him to hit him and stuff like that. And we've seen this before again with for Joe Gacy is just brought Bray Wyatt on that you bought on Wish. Like we saw this whole thing with Bray Wyatt when he wanted John Cena to cheat at WrestleMania. So it was basically the same thing as that, but done a little bit better. I think it was done a little bit better than that. Um, at one point, Joe Gacy did the old Eddie Guerrero. I make the sound of the chair hitting the ground, and then I throw it over to Braun Breaker, and then I go on the ground and hold my head. And the referee was just about to give Braun the disqualification, but then another referee came out and told him, "Oh no, Braun didn't hit him; it was a trick." So Joe Gacy just barely almost won the title. Gets up out of nowhere. Joe Gacy does like this handspring, like China would do off the freaking like move off the ropes, and he's doing like a cartwheel right into one of the biggest spears I've ever seen. Braun Breaker speared Joe Gacy in half, picked him up, power slam, 1, 2, 3. Braun Breakers, you still retains the NXT Championship in a way better match than it had any right to be with the terrible build it was. Probably the third best match of the night. Um, and yeah, not much else to say. It went off the air with Braun celebrating. Uh, Joe Gacy's still going to be feuding with him, it seems like. Braun Breaker should be on SmackDown right now. I keep saying everybody should be on SmackDown. Well, that's because SmackDown has nobody right now. But yeah, Braun Breaker should be on SmackDown. I don't understand. I still don't understand the whole thing they did with Dolph. Like, why did we even bring Dolph into NXT to beat Braun Breaker for Braun Breaker to get the title back? Like, they weren't doing anything with Dolph before that, and they haven't done anything with Dolph after that. Like, the whole thing's stupid. Like, Dolph should have went right from winning the NXT title to like at least feuding with the Dirty Dogs versus RK Bro. But no, we don't even see Dolph on Raw after that. Like the whole thing was pretty dumb. So WWE's got a lot of work to do with how they want to build things, but there is some talent here in NXT that can make Raw and SmackDown better. And I'm telling you right now, there's so many people, and including, I didn't mention this, but one of the highlights of tonight, and I thought it should have been on the show, and it was the finals of the women's breakout tournament. I thought they should have been on the show tonight. Just make it a 3-hour show. Who gives a fuck? It's Saturday. Just run till 11. But they're gonna. I understand they want ratings and they want get some good ratings for NXT on Tuesday. So we will get Tiffany Stratton versus Roxanne Perez in the finals of the women's breakout tournament. quickly out of nowhere in the last couple of months, these two have become two of my favorite wrestlers, period. You've got Roxanne Perez with her super likable baby face gimmick of like, and it's not even a gimmick, it's real life, where she's been a wrestling fan since she was like 8 years old. She grew up playing WWE 2K and put herself in the game and all that stuff. And we know that she trained with Booker T and all that stuff. And she's a really, really good wrestler. She's really small, got a cute face, really likable. And I'm not even the guy that likes baby faces. I usually like the bad guys, but she's super likable. And she's going up against one of the best heel women in the world right now, out of nowhere, never wrestled anywhere in her life until about 6 months ago. Tiffany Stratton comes in, the buff Barbie doll, the daddy's girl. She comes in with a weird gimmick, but quickly just holy shit, this girl, she's athletic. She looks like she could break my neck. She's also a world-class gymnast on the Olympic level, as well as being a buff muscle pretty girl. On top of all that, she's got a character. She talks like this, and I can't believe, like, can you believe that she went and did that? Like, oh my god, like, but she does it really well. It's kind of annoying, but it's also like it's supposed to be annoying because she's a heel. So those two are fighting on NXT Tuesday. I thought they had a place on tonight's card. It would have made tonight a little bit better if that match was on there, but I get it. They need stuff for ratings and all that. So we'll be able to catch that on NXT on Tuesday. Again, that's Roxanne Perez versus Tiffany Stratton for the women's breakout. The winner of that gets a title shot. So hopefully, whoever wins that, I don't care who wins it. Like I said, I love both of those girls. Whoever wins that should be the one to beat Mandy. I think Mandy has gone long enough, and Mandy deserves to be on SmackDown beating Ronda Rousey. I think that's where Mandy should be. So get Mandy and the rest of the Toxic Attraction on SmackDown. Then have whoever wins this breakout tournament match, whether it be Roxanne Perez or Tiffany Stratton, and then have them beat Mandy Rose for the title in the next coming weeks. That's what I would like to see. Arcade Bro, yeah, I mean, I'm happy with Arcade Bro. I'm kind of wondering if this, I'm not quite sure if this Orton injury is real or not. Like, I'm sure that it has some truth behind it, but because I remember when we just had the 20-year anniversary for Orton, and Orton was saying in the interviews, like, oh, I still got like 10, 15 more years in me, bro. And then now we're finding out he has a bad back. Well, I'm sure maybe he had a little bit of a bad back, but um maybe just needs a little bit of time off. It was looking like they were gonna have Riddle versus Roman for the title, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen anymore. So I don't think we're gonna see Roman defend the title all the way until SummerSlam. So that means he's not gonna be at Hell in the Cell. I don't even think he's gonna be at Money in the Bank. Um, but he might be, but I don't think so. He was supposed to fight Riddle at Money in the Bank. But now I think Roman's just going to have the summer off until SummerSlam, which is like July 30th. And then they've already announced it's going to be Drew McIntyre versus Roman at Clash of the Castle, which is in the UK. And that's going to be like August. I think that's like August 20th. Maybe September, like 2nd, something like that. So we might not even see Roman Reigns defend that title until the Clash of the Castle show, but I'm sure he'll be at SummerSlam. There are also rumors that we might get John Cena versus Austin Theory for the U.S. title at SummerSlam. I'm not a Cena fan, so I could care less. I hope he doesn't be there, but it looks like we're probably gonna get that. That should be pretty good. They got to do something with with the Intercontinental title. It looks like it's gonna go to Walter, which is Gunther. I don't know if you've been watching SmackDown with Gunther, but Gunther is the man. Gunther will destroy everybody, and he's gonna destroy Ricochet for the Intercontinental title. And then maybe we can get I don't know. Like, I want to really what I want to see is Drew McIntyre versus Gunther. So we'll have to see where that goes. As far as the Usos, who are they gonna fight next? Like, who do you even got? I mean, I guess you got Street Profits. So at some point, you're gonna have a Street Profits versus Usos match. Los Lotharios. I mean, you could do something with Los Lotharios because Angel and Humberto are really good. They just don't give them a chance. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where WWE goes going forward. But I think everybody that wrestled tonight, you could put on Raw or SmackDown in like maybe with the exception of Stacks and Two Dimes. I think all of these people. Let me go through the card. Tony D'Angelo, you could put him on Raw right now, and every Raw would have a 10-minute amazing. Hey, wise guys here. I'm gonna be sleeping with the fishes. Like you could put Tony D'Angelo on Raw right now, and it improves the show. All of Legado del Fantasma, Santos Escobar, an amazing wrestler. You put him on SmackDown or Raw with the rest of the other three members of Legado del Fantasma, that show instantly improves. Toxic Attraction, like I keep saying, Gigi, JC, and Mandy should be on SmackDown right now. Gigi and JC should be the WWE Tag Team title, women's titles, and Mandy should be with the cheating from Gigi and JC. I think Mandy Rose should be SmackDown Women's Champion over Ronda Rousey. Then you can have Rousey chase Mandy for the entire summer. Like there's things WWE can do. They've got players in NXT they can do stuff with. Toxic Attraction beat Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. Those two are ready to be on the main roster if you really want it a women's tag division that actually has tag teams. You could put them on Raw right now and against any of the people like Dewdrop, and they could have some great matches against Dewdrop and Nikki ASH, who fucking should. I don't know why she still has the superhero gimmick, bro. I don't know why she still has that dumbass superhero gimmick. Carmelo Hayes can be an instant star. You put Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams with MVP and Omos right now to form the new Hurt Business. Those guys will be selling 1,000,000 T-shirts in a week span. I tell you that right now. Because Omos ain't it. Omos is cool, but Omos ain't it. Omos is bad in the ring. But Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, those are some good ass wrestlers. Cameron Grimes, like I've been saying, put him, give him his old gimmick, give him the $1,000,000 championship, give him the $1,000,000 man as a manager, put him on Raw or SmackDown right now with that gimmick, the over exaggerated one. Plenty of ways you can go. Next match was Mandy Rose with Wendy Chu. I would have Wendy Chu back in their Mei Ying character, but even if you don't want to do that, she's got a place on the roster, I guess. But I would have her as Mei Ying and team her back with Xia Li so that there's another. Then they're adding yet another women's tag team on the main roster. See how this works? The Creed brothers. Instantly, the Creed brothers are already ready for the main roster. That's one I would wait though. I would wait until like after WrestleMania in Hollywood, the next one coming up, 39, and then like the night after, bring the Creed brothers up after a lengthy title reign in NXT. Oh, who's that? Alexa? Alexa, I don't think even WWE knows what's going on with her. Like she's got this basically the gimmick right now is if she has the doll, that stupid ass doll with her, then she's a good person but a boring, bland good person. If she doesn't have the doll, like we saw at Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia, she's back to the evil, gothic, whatever version. So it's basically going to be some kind of story about when she's with the doll and when she's not, and it's going to be boring as hell. If it was me, so what I did in my universe mode, I put Alexa back to evil in a tag team with Rhea Ripley in the Judgment Day, and then Bayley is also with them in the Judgment Day, and Bayley is the world champion, the unified women's world champion, and then Rhea and Alexa are her teammates in the Judgment Day, and they're the tag champs. I mean, if I'm Vince McMahon, that's what I do because I don't know why Bayley's not back. I'm pretty sure Bayley is healed from her injury. I mean, maybe she's not, but because what do we know? Only she knows the answer. I mean, I guess WWE knows the answer too, but I really need Bayley back. And I can't believe Sasha and Naomi are just gone like that, bro. Sasha and Naomi were basically the best thing about the women's division in 2022, and then they're just gone. They're just freaking gone. I can't believe it. There's only one T-shirt that I have that's a woman wrestler's T-shirt, and that's the Boss Sasha Banks. She's the goat, bro. Becky got nothing on her. The only one that's close is Bailey. But yeah, that's why we need to get this NXT title off of Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose is getting into like Bailey Asuka territory as far as the length of her NXT title reign. I mean, I know it's 2.0, but come on. But yeah, Pretty Deadly. I was still going down the list. Pretty Deadly. I mean, there's always room for another tag team on the main roster. Freaking hell yeah! And they got a good gimmick. I don't know if you've seen Pretty Deadly. They're these like Bati boys, but it's like a good gimmick. You know what I'm saying? It's like funny. And then the Braun Breaker versus Joe Gacy was the only other match. Of course, Braun Breaker's ready for the main roster, and I guess Joe Gacy is fine for the main roster. Like all these people that were on tonight, they could interject into Raw or SmackDown right now and make those shows better. And that's what NXT 2.0 is all about. So it's all a matter of what WWE wants to do. Like, do they want to just keep all the people they currently have so that they keep costs down? As far as I'm pretty sure if you get upgraded from an NXT contract to a main roster contract, you all of a sudden kick in like I don't know how much, but at least an extra 50,000 a year or something like that. So and they're even though they're bringing in billions and billions of dollars, they're really stingent right now about how much they want to spend. So it looks to me like they're still kind of on that wavelength of not wanting to spend too much. Otherwise, we would have seen some more call ups since WrestleMania. Because I think some of these guys are like Toxic Attraction and Braun Breaker should be on Raw and SmackDown. There's no doubt in my mind. You could bring all of Legado del Fantasma to SmackDown right now, and like I keep saying, all these other guys too. So it's just a matter of when and how they want to do things, and if the WWE wants to keep their women's tag division, which I think they should, just freaking do it and actually do it right. Then that way, like when you have like let's say we're gonna have Bianca as champion for the next 8 months. Well, now you have something for like Asuka and Becky and all of them. They every now and then they could challenge for the title, lose, but then when they're not challenging for the title, they could either challenge or be champion for the tag division. And all you got to do is find one other person that likes you, and all of a sudden you're at least a makeshift tag team. But like every tag team starts out as a makeshift tag team. So let's say Becky Lynch has one freaking ally in the whole world that every now and then she'll tag team with. But now, like 2 years later, it's like you think of them as a tag team because that's been an established tag team for 2 years. It's not that hard. So I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna start my stream again. We can try and play some other time pro. I'm just really I got a big schedule of how I want to do this universe mode right now. I'm trying to build this channel up, but I'm thinking about adding reviews. So this is my first ever real life review. I've been reviewing my universe mode stuff, but this is the first review I've done, and I'm pretty sure I'll be back on tomorrow night. So if you want to come on tomorrow night, pro, let me know. I'm gonna be back on after Hell in the Cell. It should be a good Hell in the Cell, and I'm expecting at least a few surprises. I'm not quite sure what we're gonna get, but I'm expecting at least one surprise, whether it be like Roman Reigns or the Usos or Riddle or something in addition to the amazing Seth versus Cody match. And the triple threat for the Raw Women's title is going to be great. I'm even looking forward to what kind of hijinks KO and Ezekiel have. So should be a decent night. I'm going to get going. We're at exactly an hour. But overall, like I said, I give NXT in Your House a thumbs up. We know that it's not the NXT Black and Gold. It's not NXT 1.0. We don't expect 4 or 5 star matches, but We do expect entertainment. We expect good gimmicks, good character work, and improvement. Most importantly, the most important thing about NXT 2.0 is improvement. And from what I saw, every single person in the ring tonight has improved from where they were 6 months ago. And that's a good sign. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you next time.